And I always try to get to the human side of someone. And I'm like, if I have this such a conviction about this person or this thing or whatever, if I know how I feel about it and the passion and where it's really rooted, you have to believe that another person that you might fundamentally disagree on all levels, that belief or idea is rooted in something that is fueling a passion in them. And that's where you have to try to understand. There are two major big problems. One, there is this unhealthy relationship developing with the idea of progression. And I feel like now people are not wanting progression, but they're wanting perfection. And that if there's any iota of racism ever in existence that appears, then they think, well, nothing's changed, no one's free. And the thing about it is, racism is tied within an emotion. Like racism is within and survives in a feeling. Racism is not something you just dig out of the ground or you chip away from, an establishment or institution. Racism is within someone's soul, what they choose to be. And then when that person's put in certain spaces and places and positions, then yeah, they can make a culture of things that are toxic. But you cannot mandate racism out of the earth. You cannot jettison it from America. And I say that as someone that like I said, I've experienced racism, um, from the little minute version to the most extreme that I talked about. But you cannot make people like people, cannot make people love people. And I love this whole idea of trying to unite. And that sounds great, but you can't unite until you start respecting each other. That's the missing key. And I it's very kumbaya to be like, let's all unite. But we don't respect each other. So you just want us to come together when we hate each other. Just be very claustrophobic in our hate. No. We need to start respecting each other's differences and point of views because that's America. We all are not going to agree on everything. And wouldn't it be boring if we all did? Like the best conversations and my best friends, we do not see eye to eye on every single thing. But the thing we do see eye to eye on is the fact that we love each other as friends and we respect each other. And we know that we're both sincere in a way of, if I say something, I didn't mean to hurt you. And if we have a disagreement, it's not to divide us. If anything, we talk about it more and it just makes us closer as people. And I think there's a lack of maturity in America. And the other problem is, the American problem is both sides that think that they're right. This side thinks they're right, this side thinks they're right, and this side's wrong and this side's wrong. Newsflash, no side's right. And I would say the main problem here is that there's sides at all. I understand that, there's conservatives and liberals. The thing is that's a mindset more than a political party. The political party is Republican and Democrat, and it just so happens it's been liberalized on that side, conservative on that side. But in general, having a conservative personality should not be a political identity, or having a liberal identity or personality shouldn't be a political identity. But the thing is we all kind of live on the spectrum. And I know there's people on this side who do agree with some stuff over here, but because they're on this side, there's like this allegiance they have to pay. And the same for this side. I'm like, they probably agree with some of this stuff, but they won't say it because then that would be breaking away from the party they represent, which is why you miss me with the parties. I throw my own. Just kidding. I don't. I'm too old. But I will say this, there are issues on the other side as well. So I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm just talking about Black Lives Matter and social justice and stuff. No, there are a lot of issues on the right side. And we see it coming out. And no side, to me, holds the monopoly on what's right or what's going on. Because if you think you're wholly right and one side is completely just the enemy, then you're already wrong. And both sides feel that. So what we need to do is just get more mature, because this divide doesn't have to be this way. Like, it's not going to be perfect. I am not advocating for a utopia. I'm not advocating for a fantasy land of perfection where we're all holding hands in a circle and eating chocolate all day, which is my fantasy land. But I am saying we can just become better people, though we will not ever be unflawed. That's not possible. We're always gonna have flaws. But this, like, stark, just always every day, can we can level it out a little if we realize, hey, they're not going to all come over and agree with us, because we're not going to all come over to agree with them. Maybe we do have to meet in the middle. And I'm not saying sacrifice what you believe, but literally come in the middle and talk and really discuss stuff and not assume things because you see it through media. That's the problem. Talk to people, get to know someone, hear them out. And that's a note for me as well. I'm not perfect. This has been a hard journey, but I've gained a lot. And that's why I want to do this, because of what I've gained, because of what I know and about myself and how I've changed and how it's been for the better, and how I used to laugh at people, to be honest, when they were like, let's get to the humanity and stuff. And I'm like, okay, Mr. Rogers, cool. But now I'm like, no, Mr. Rogers, though, he knew. Dr. King, he knew. All of these people who people thought were passive and weak in some way, because they were talking about love and getting to the heart of people, I would say they're the most radical. It's very easy to hate people. It's not easy to put your emotions aside and listen to someone that you find their beliefs detestable. It's very hard to just sit there and listen to them. I'm saying that because I've been in that position of sitting across from someone and listening to them and being like, I will be offended in this situation, but I'm going to talk to them anyway. Because you got to build up tolerance to hearing things that you don't like.